Hey guys, I'm filming from under a palm tree today because I'm bored and because the hostel is sticky and it's flipping hot in Istanbul. So I came to some grass to talk about my new recent ideas that I've had from listening to some philosophers about romance and capitalism and how they're kind of linked. And I think that capitalism affects our relationships more than we think it does. And where this all kind of starts is with this loneliness that I all think that we feel to some extent, that at the end of the day, even if we do have friends and family and all these people around us, we do only have ourselves when it comes to a certain point, and many times in life we all are stuck by ourselves and we do feel it very heavily. And from a young age we see these films, we see these stories, advertising, marketing, showing us that true love and romance is the answer to this deep loneliness that a lot of us feel. And it's true, of course it is a very good solution, otherwise no one would do it. But what I think the problem is that this marketing that we've been under has kind of made us also to believe that we are able to become more lovable, and that not all humans have the same capacity to be loved, and that if I buy the right toothpaste or I go to the right gym and I work out hard enough, maybe in a few months I might be able, to be loved if I can get there. If my body's good enough, if my face is pretty enough, if I learn how to play the guitar and all that stuff. That's what we all think. And we think also when someone doesn't possess tons of these qualities, then they aren't lovable and they don't, maybe not deserve love as much, but there's something about it. And it seems that this is very similar to the capitalist model, whereby an object which has more value can be sold at a higher price, right? And that's kind of what's happening to us. We think that, the more value we have, the more lovable we can become. And we treat other people in the same way instead of as just humans, which I think is very bad. It seems that everyone has become a product and become ranked based on what they're able to offer in this market of love that has kind of come about and relationships. This explains the cause of a lot of breakups or divorces, because people might categorize themselves as, oh, well, I'm 7 out of 10 good looking, I can play the piano, and I'm a beginner in Spanish, whilst they don't even speak any languages. They're 5 out of 10 good looking and whatever. Therefore, the value is not transactional, because, when we go to a shop and we buy something, we give money and we expect, something of equal value to come back. And we seem to have the same idea in love, that when we give something, when we give ourselves, we expect the same thing back. We need that transaction to feel equal, like in the market that it should be. And it doesn't help that everyone around you, your friends and your family, will always, say comments like, oh, he's not good enough for you, or she's not smart enough for you, or he's not driven enough, or, all these comments, which to some extent, of course they're very important. You need someone to be to some extent driven, to some extent academic, but it seems in this society is very, these qualities are very important, and people need to see that transactional, value happening. Otherwise it doesn't feel right. It feels weird because we're so used to getting our money's worth. And we see this with fairy tales like Cinderella, Snow White, whatever. It's like, stick around a little bit, work hard, and then when your time is right, you will be rewarded, which is the exact model of capitalism, that if you work hard, then, you'll be rewarded a little bit later with money and a good life. And it's like, once we get to this point, once we find that person and, we're in our little romantic bubble, we're supposedly, hit the jackpot and hit the good life, and we kind of enter this private little bubble with them. And I actually watched a really good TED talk where this woman said that this privatization also comes from neoliberalism, which is this new economic model that we're all kind of abiding by, where everything has become privatized. And it's not only stuff to do with money, it's also our lives. And we can see it with romance as well, where she thinks that we're not going to be able to accomplish anything collectivist, like climate change, any other problems, because we're so obsessed with finding that right, clique and that right circle to keep to our privacy. And we don't seek these collectivist relationships anymore in the same way that we idealize romance, because of how much it's marketed through fairy tales, through all of this stuff, not even realistically. Even these adverts, like if you're going on holiday or if they're advertising a perfume or something, there's always like a couple kind of already, putting it into your mind that, well, if you buy this product, then you might be able to get this, but it's tied to buying this product. Romance is capitalism's best product almost, because everyone's so obsessed with it that it kind of is a chain that people will buy things because they seek this particular product of romance. So these ideas are not mine, unfortunately. They're from this awesome philosopher called Erich Fromm, and what he kind of says is that we need to start seeing love as an art. And the same way that a musician, when they walk down the street, would hear like some clanging a bit differently to just a normal person, it's the same with love. Love is a skill that we must immerse ourselves in and get better at, because we seem to have a very, we seem to think that we know everything about love, but we don't actually know at all how it functions, because it seems that when we get put into these relationships, we either just end it because we can't seem to get along with a person or compromise or have any knowledge of how to communicate. Or we think we just need to move on to the next person, which, of course, for some people might be the right solution, but it seems that a lot of people have this idea that love is just supposed to come, and that we are of a certain value, we expect that transactional value to come, and if that person doesn't agree with us all the time, or, is always kind of opposing to us, then that means that it isn't going to work, which I also think is wrong. So he says that instead of trying to look for love, where's my next boyfriend or whatever, my next girlfriend, then you should try to just improve yourself and get better at the act of love, which you don't need a boyfriend or a girlfriend to do. Love is everywhere. You can love the person that you speak to on the street, in acts of kindness and everything. It's about finding all of that. And this is a very difficult skill to do, because society tells us to strive for money, for success, for all of these things, and so we feel the same with love. We've got to strive for this, this top level thing, and if it's not top level, it's not good enough. Nothing in society says work harder at becoming a better lover, a better person who gives love out, which is kind of sad, and maybe would fix a lot of things if people thought this way, instead of just seeing it completely idealized in the media and in everything that we do. So I think we've got to stop seeing people as products and see everyone as humans, instead of seeing what they can offer you as if you're buying them from a market. Because what happens when you go to the market? You buy a piece of clothing, and then after a while you get bored and you go back, right? Products aren't long term. Products can't help solve problems. Products aren't the way to go. They're temporary. So let me know what you think of these ideas. I'd be interested to hear. And I hope you enjoy. Bye guys.